Hey guys, Jamie here. So today I just wanted to talk about something that's been blowing up all over YouTube, and that is sugar fasting. And I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on sugar fasting. There can be a lot of variations to this sugar fasting. Some people are, eating lots of fruit and, or canned fruit, frozen fruit, and then they're eating potatoes and rice. And then some people are doing, I've seen people who are basically just eating processed sugar all day long, like pop and candies and whatnot. And so I just wanted to just clarify, and I think it's great that people are now understanding not to fear sugar. It's, we've been demonizing sugar and we've been labeling processed food as all sugar. And people are forgetting that there's a whole oil industry there, and oil is in all those processed sugars or all those processed foods as well as the sugar. And they've just snuck in all the oil into those processed foods and then just labeled it as sugar and sugar's bad. And yeah, those foods are bad. They're terrible. You shouldn't be having fat and sugar together. They don't, a lot of them have chemicals and no nutrition at all, and they are bad. So, but it's really bad because of the fat. Okay, the fat is the problem. Fat, as I said many times before, fat is what causes insulin resistance, blood sugar issues, pre-diabetes, diabetes. If you have really high fat levels, that thickens the blood a lot. And that's why, not to get sidetracked here, but when you have really thick blood like that, it puts you at risk for heart attack and stroke. And just to point out, when you have, the reason why people can feel good on high fat diets, keto diets, is because when you're eating high fat and it thickens the blood, the body is really smart. It releases adrenaline. Adrenaline is released to help thin the blood because it's a survival mechanism. The blood is too thick. Adrenaline is released and it helps thin the blood. It's a survival mechanism. And adrenaline can feel really good. If you haven't burnt out your adrenals and you have plenty adrenal stores, adrenaline will make you feel super sharp, mentally clear, because it's like a fight or flight thing, right? If you're faced with a bear, all of a sudden you have like superhuman strength, you're mentally clear, super sharp. It's a survival mechanism. So I just wanted to point out that people feel really good on keto for a while because they're living off adrenaline, and adrenaline can feel really good. But anyways, got a little sidetracked there. But yeah, so all these processed foods have just been labeled as sugar, and that sugar is evil when really they're loaded with copious amounts of oil. And no one seems to care about that oil industry making everyone sick and profiting. They're just demonizing sugar. And so the thing is I'm happy that people are waking up to that sugar's not the problem, that it's fat. However, I am a firm believer in eating whole nutritious foods first, and your diet should be focused on, fruit primarily. But I understand that people have different situations going on. Maybe they can't afford, fruit has gotten very expensive. So maybe that means you eat canned fruit, frozen fruit, but fruit should be a part of your diet, at least for breakfast, and then at least one snack. But I believe in fruits and vegetables and greens and things like potatoes are amazing, sweet potatoes, pumpkin squash, raw honey maple syrup, and rice. These, in my opinion, should be what your diet is centered around. And we should be focusing on that because there's all these vitamins and minerals and antioxidants in these foods, and they're antiviral and bacterial, and they offer so much for the human body that we don't even know, and they are important. That's why they are in these foods. So I think that we should be having our diet mostly of these foods, and then you treat stuff like Sour Patch Kids, or isolated cane sugar that you want to use in baked goods, or add to your banana smoothie or whatever it is as a supplement. Okay, and I'm not saying that they're bad. When they are in the absence of fat, they are processed sugar is not bad, but processed sugar has been processed and it's been stripped of all of its vitamins and minerals. And to make that a main focus of your diet is not a good transaction, in the sense that you still have to process that, right? And it, you know, and if it doesn't have the vitamins and minerals attached to it, it's just not as a good transaction as eating things like fruit and potatoes and greens and stuff. So it's not a food that's going to, in the absence of fat, it's not going to cause things like heart disease and diabetes or a stroke. When it's in the absence of fat, I have to say that all the time because people like to twist your words around. When it's isolated on its own, it's not going to cause those things, but it's just not as a good of a transaction in terms of what you get out of it, okay? In terms of the nutrition. So I would treat it like a supplement to an already nutritious diet, okay? But yeah, so I just want to make that clear, and I don't want to discourage people. I'm just trying to encourage you to eat more whole foods first. Fruits is my number one, okay? That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not like saying it's bad or demonizing it. I just think that the whole nutritious foods should come first, and then treat it like a supplement is all. But I am happy that people are starting to wake up and realize that it's not terrible for you. It's not going to make you fat. The fat is what makes you fat. The fat is what gives you fatty liver. How we've been convinced that a fatty liver is caused by sugar is beyond me, and it just goes to show you how the power of manipulation when someone, you know, puts out a message day in and day out for decades and decades with all these experts and all these studies and whatnot. But anyways, guys, keep it high carb, keep it low fat, focus on fruits, raw honey, vegetables, and you know, potatoes, sweet potatoes, pumpkin squash, and rice, and then treat the other things as a supplement, because I know sometimes you want to have fun in life, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's better than going and eating fast food and all these processed foods with the sugar and oil together. And that's things like Sour Patch Kids and whatnot are way better to have than that. So yeah. So that's my message for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back again for another video. Thanks, guys. Bye.